Not too long ago, I did a video where I followed the careers of 100 one-star quarterbacks to try to give you the answer if any of them can become good, any of them can become viable players. I've always stepped things up a little bit and go to 3-star wide receivers, as 3-star being kind of the middle of the road type of player, and 3 stars being among the most obtainable and prevalent players in the recruiting classes, as if you're a small school taking over a 1-star school, 3 stars are going to be realistically what you're going after, as you can't get the 4s and 5s until you become a little bit better of a program if you're playing a realistic dynasty. Well, how good can these 3 stars become? Now, in this video, it's going to be a little bit different than how we did the 1-star quarterbacks, because as I explained in the 1-star quarterback video, the 1 stars just didn't commit to schools. So that was a big hurdle I had to get over by manually doing it and manually putting the players on the teams and doing them in batches. This time, I'm going to just kind of have them all in college football at the same time. It's going to be 4 batches of 25, but in 4 consecutive years, so they're all overlapping and their careers are going to be going on at the same time. So you can kind of let me know what you think of this version of it more, if you prefer everyone to just be jumbled all together or you prefer the batches. That's going to be important for future videos, so you can let me know which style you like more. Each incoming recruiting classes, I'll show you the good developments and the interesting players. We have John Tunyon being our first star development player, which already surpassed what we did in the 1-star videos. We didn't find any stars or elites. Another star receiver, Ramon Camarillo, so that's going to be 2 star players in the first batch of 25 incoming. But as these guys are mid to high 60s at best coming in, they're not going to be starting receivers. And in order for me to deem one of these receivers good enough to show you, I'm going to be showing you any bowl or playoff appearance that they are in, and they have to at least be one of the team's 3 top receivers. I'm not going to show you a guy who's getting 30 catches for 400 yards. That's not worthwhile showing you, because a lot of guys will eventually get to that point where they could be a 4th receiver or get a little bit of production. I'm trying to show you the best of the best. There's 100 players to get through, and I'm making sure you see as many of them as possible. One thing I did learn from year 1 to year 2 is not all 25 are going to instantly commit to a school. Some of them didn't end up committing on signing day and then ended up on another team, and that was a headache to go and find them. So I ended up scouting 35 players, and the top 25 that ended up committing, I wrote them down. I made sure to exclude JUCOs, but we include athletes. So as long as they have 4 to 5 years of eligibility, they will be able to be on this video. And the video is going to be starting off a little bit slow when it comes to a lack of gameplay, because we have to actually get these guys into the world of college football, which is a big difference from last video where I was able to just kind of put things in batches. And I do want to at least show you that we will have some action this upcoming season, since some of these freshman receivers received their red shirts and are going to be redshirt freshmen with plus 10s, plus 15s in overalls. Camarillo is actually going to be a starter at Nebraska. We also have Logan Markway, who's already maxed out at a 77 overall, but at Western Kentucky, that's good enough to be a receiver. How about the incoming recruiting class? Florida has Walter Godwin, a star development receiver, so that's going to be our 3rd star. And how about a 4th star, Donald Tatum at Marshall? No guarantee that just because you have star development, you're going to turn into anything or become a starter or have any sort of production, but it gives you a better chance, which is all we're really looking for. I don't know how easy it's going to be to find an elite development type of player or find somebody like that. So for those of you looking to get into the gameplay, I do apologize for a little bit slow of a start, but all we got to do, scout these players, get through them, and we will have a little bit of action to get into, as it's been a lot more gems and busts than we've seen in the 1-star videos. In the 1-star, very little in the bust section of things, because I mean, if you're a 1-star, if you're a bust, I mean, what's even the point? Because 1-stars normally aren't that good, and even 1-star gems are barely that good. So if you're a 1-star and a bust, I mean, you're just unplayable. I don't even know if you're good enough for D3 action. So, with 3 stars, we're seeing a lot more variety when it comes to gems, busts, and just regular development players. A lot more variety in the skill sets as well. And while we wrap up the scouting for this season, I would like to let you guys know that we are so close to 5,000 subscribers. We still have about a week left of the year, and we're about maybe 150 off. So I'd like to get that before the end of the year. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. But I held off on showing one guy, and that's Manu at Boise State. And that's because after simulating through the conference championship, how in the world has this already happened? 23 touchdowns and an All-American. He went from a low 60s overall to the 70s, and he's in a bowl game, All-American, conference champion, 23 touchdowns off the bat is insane. Unfortunately, he didn't get in the Heisman running, and Boise State's not in the playoffs, but they're doing really good as a ranked school, conference champions, and settling for a field goal over Jacksonville State. The kick is no good, and that's going to lead to Jacksonville State in this tie game, trying to pull off an upset in the bowl game, taking the shot deep, and it's going to be broken up. Boise State takes over with great field position, throwing outside. That's going to be caught at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10, throwing the swing pass. The screen out to the running back is going to be caught, and he's going to go up ahead for the 1st down, 3rd down, and 3. Handoff, and he's got the first, moving the chains again. You're a lot closer this time around for a field goal, as you shouldn't be missing this one. 4th down kick is going to be good. So this time around, it gets them to a 31-28 game, and Jacksonville State immediately throws a dart up the seam, past midfield already, over the middle, 1st down. They're in field goal range to tie this thing up, and the kick is good. We're going to overtime in our first game, and Jacksonville State immediately delivers a touchdown. Boise State needing to respond, and I think you got to attack the guy that's got 23 touchdowns in the season, as he's going to get it inside the 15-yard line, throw it for the end zone. It's broken up, 4th and 10, game on the line. It's going to be incomplete, and that's going to lead to Boise State getting upset. The one thing I do want to add, if someone has a big-time bowl game, playoff game, I want to show you. How about Manu going for 10 catches, 2 touchdowns, and an overall season where he gets 25 scores. Look at what he did game by game. A lot of 100-yard games, a lot of multi-touchdown games. Now for Ramon Camarillo, who's one of the other starters we have, Nebraska dominates their bowl game, and Ramon, decent little season as a starting receiver. And then our other receiver that's starting at Western Kentucky, Markway, he's in a bowl game, 15-17, as Western Kentucky has the football screen outside on 3rd down, gonna get the first, and they are in scoring position. Can they make it a 2-score game? Throwing outside, that's gonna be wide open on the back pylon. Touchdown, 2-score game, and Western Kentucky swarms them. New Mexico dropped for a big loss. 3rd down and long, and that's going to be caught, but you're not going to get much there. 4th down and long, basically game on the line, that's swatted away, and that's going to lead to Western Kentucky taking over, putting it in the end zone, and sealing the deal. So glad I didn't have to wait too long to see some players in action. Redshirt freshmen, and one of them in Manu being amazing. Markway, really nice season, double-digit touchdowns as well. And we go into the recruiting class of the next 25, where they are going to be committing, and we're going to be seeing even more players progressively in action. Once we get everybody involved, I mean, it's going to be so many players playing potentially up against each other as well. That's going to be a part that we didn't have in the previous video that much with the batches. Players are going to be playing up against each other. We have 2 more star developments, so it's been looking like we just get 2 every time. So now we have 75 3-star receivers actively, and this is going to be the final batch of 25, and then every one of the 100 receivers that we have will all be in the world of college football together, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what kind of team-ups happen as well. Like I said, doing the quarterback video, only one quarterback can play, but I mean, what happens now if some of these receivers start linking up, being on the same team, being up against one another? What kind of matchups are we going to start getting? Because there are some overlapping when it comes to teams that are recruiting. These are 100 receivers. They're not all going to go to 100 different schools. You've seen Boise State's already picked up a couple of them, as a couple of other schools, like West Virginia's picked up a couple, Cincinnati's picked up a couple. It's probably going to be hard enough to turn one of these receivers into a clear-cut starter. So if a school could do it with 2 different guys at the same time, that's going to be really impressive. But if you guys are tired of all the scouting that's gone on in the first 9 minutes of this video, I have good news for you. This is it. This is where we're done after this, and it's going to be the next 50 minutes fully focused on gameplay, results, development, statistics, all that stuff that you guys want to see. And, you know, already early on, we've seen that Boise State receiver hit 25 touchdowns. Is anyone even going to reach those heights? And we'll see how the rest of his career pans out as well. So how we're going to do this going forward is we're going to show you first the players that are not involved in bowl action that you won't be seeing, and just do the stats of the players that are going to be starting. First off, we have Jalen Slay. Also, Camarillo immediately became a backup at Nebraska because he just didn't get much better, but Slay, decent production. Callum Fenderson at UMass is up to a 79 overall, and he was adequately productive as like a number 2 receiver. Markway, not only did he not hit a bowl game this year, but he slipped down the depth chart a little bit, just single digits in the catches, but I guess he'll be back as a starter eventually. Devon Brace, relatively low overall for Wake Forest, but he got into the action as a number 2 receiver. 13 touchdowns for him, pretty impressive. And now we're on to the guys that are in bowl action. We start off with Jamie Fong at the University of Troy, coming off a conference championship victory. They're taking on Florida State in the Birmingham Bowl. Broken tackle there. It's a low score 10-6 game as the quarterback runs for the first down. And now handoff left side, where the running back is going to get the first down. Past the 45-yard line. Play action. Drop in to throw it deep. And he's got a wide open man. Touchdown, Troy. And they got the lead 13-10. Florida State has it with under 3 to go. And that ball's going to be caught. Almost picked off, but the tight end was able to haul it in. First down and 10 underneath. And now with a catch and run opportunity, turning upfield. He's got it to the 36-yard line. Jump into 3rd and 5, and that ball's going to have a chance to be caught by both sides, and neither one are going to be coming up with it. Field goal's going to be good. Florida State ties it up. Troy could go on a game-winning touchdown or field goal drive. Minute and a half to go. They're going to go to the air, obviously, as they got an easy completion for the first down at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Going back-to-back for the first downs, and that one's caught in a tight window. 3rd down and 13. Now a little backed up as he's going to throw it under pressure, and that's good. Great completion. Under a minute to play. Turning upfield. First down conversion. And now you can run the clock out and kick the field goal, and it is good. Troy pulls it off over Florida State, and Jamie Fong ends up with a 1,000-yard season. He got some action last year, but not a significant amount, but a very nice 1,000-yard season for him. Up next, we got John Tunyon, one of the star receivers that we viewed earlier at Boston College. He has blossomed into a starter, though for a star development, not a crazy high overall, but starter nonetheless, as they're taking on Utah 24-19, and Utah with the first down carry. About 3rd down and 3, screen set up, and the pressure got in a little too quick. They're going to go for it on 4th down, needing the score. They're going to get the first, and inside the 20-yard line as they're fighting for that crazy looking Pop-Tart trophy that actually makes Pop-Tarts. Did you guys see that trophy? That thing's crazy. I want one of those, as they're going to have a 1-point lead after missing the 2-point conversion. Boston College getting sacked, fumble the football. You're way backed up. 3rd down and 24, sacked in the end zone. Safety 27-24, so it's just like they got that 2-point conversion as they're going to run ahead for the first down. Will they get another one? Not quite. 4th down, and Boston College is going to have less than a minute to go to try to win that cool looking Pop-Tart trophy. High stakes, obviously, in this game. Not quite the playoffs, but almost as good. Making Pop-Tarts might be just as important as winning a national championship. 4th down, game on the line. You're going to throw an interception, and no Pop-Tarts will be heated up for Boston College. It's going to Utah as they're going to win the bowl game, and Tunyon does have a nice double-digit touchdown season, was the number 1 receiver this year. And we also have one of the players that I spoke about earlier, of a guy who didn't commit on signing day, so then I had to go and look for him. He ended up at Memphis. Memphis gets dominated in their bowl game by Coastal Carolina, but at a 1,000-yard season for him, despite being basically maxed out 77 overall. We go to the playoffs now. We got Boise State in the playoffs, and their wide receivers 2, 3, and 4 are all players that are featured in this video, so they got a lot of guys to look at, and they're taking on Oklahoma. And would you look at that? It's a Fiesta Bowl rematch. They had a classic game many years ago, and how about back at it? Boise State, Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. This time with playoff implications in the 2nd round, as Boise State, after winning their conference championship, got the 1st round bye, and Oklahoma throwing an interception. Boise State, are they going to pull it up again against Oklahoma? All these years later, they're going to throw an incomplete pass, go 3 and out, and Oklahoma takes it back over, throwing outside. That's going to be caught for the first down. Now jumping to 2nd down and 5, tucking it, running it. He's got the first, moving it back into field goal range as they're going to throw outside of the tight end. Caught for the first down. 3rd down and 7, handoff. He's going to fight ahead, not get it, and they're going to settle for the field goal. Boise State's going to be left with still 2 minutes to go as they got to get it to one of these receivers. Manu is on the field. He's good touchdown machine. Don't go 4 and out off the bat, and they're going to do just that. Oklahoma takes over. Handoff. He's mad, and the ball comes loose, but Oklahoma jumps on it, and that was your opportunity. That's a first down for Oklahoma, and they can kneel the football out, and they're not going to do it. They want the 2-score lead. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 31-21 over Boise State. That's unfortunate. But, I mean, it wasn't for a lack of trying. Manu had a great game in the playoffs, and overall, another 1,000-yard season. All these receivers getting involved. I mean, look what Boise State has already built. And then these are the final 25 guys to commit, so we'll finally be done with recruiting, and everybody is on their teams. 100 receivers are in the world of college football now. They seem to save the best for last with these final 25 players. Elite development, Matt Proctor, from Clemson. That's our first elite on the board. How about we get 2? Dion Ismail from Louisiana. So Louisiana getting an absolute steal of a player. 2 elites on the board. And how about 3 in a row? Mike Sturgeon from Kansas State. So in the first 75, 0 elites. This batch of 25, 3 elites. And we're not done yet. How about a star? Brett Torrey from Miami. That's 4 of the 25. Really good. And then we have another one. Aiden Gayton from UMass. UMass already has Callum Fenderson, who became a starting receiver for them. How about you add another guy to the mix, and UMass could have a fun wide receiver duo. So now getting into the guys who did not make bowl games but were a starter. George Grubb for Akron did get a job finally as a senior, was able to put up a decent season. Both Terrell and Nolan here, both at the University of Memphis, 2 and 3 as wide receivers, both put up solid like 800-yard seasons and did not make a bowl game. We also have Jay Shorter for Jacksonville State, 75 overall, became a starter, did not make a bowl game, but you know, double-digit touchdowns. Seems like some of these guys are able to put the ball in the end zone. Devon Braze, he's holding on to a job. He's still back here at Wake Forest, not making a bowl game once again, but 2 years in a row as a number 2 wide receiver despite being at a 75 overall. Markway kind of earned his job back a little bit after basically riding the bench, but not quite his freshman production, but 600 yards, 9 touchdowns, a lot better than what he did last year. Speaking of Callum Fenderson, you know, UMass not making a bowl game, but he's got a potential co-star in Gayton. And Fenderson had a bit better of a year, double-digit touchdowns for him. We have Walter Godwin at the University of Florida. He was one of our star development players. He did not make a bowl game for Florida, but put up a nice season. And he's an 83 overall. How about another player who is an 83 overall? So I saved the best 2 for last in terms of overalls. Hawkinson at Texas Tech. Looking really good, 283s. Now we get into bowl action, and we got the Boise boys back at it, and Manu in his final season. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a prolific game that we're going to watch. They put up a lot of points. They didn't put up quite an amount of stats, but I mean, Manu, after that 25 touchdown year, didn't put up quite those numbers, but 1,000 yards, 3 straight years, double-digit touchdowns every year. And now let's get to Boston College, who's going to be added again. 2 of their starting 3 receivers are 3-stars, Tunyon and Barmore, 2 of the 100 players that are featured in this video. So Boston College could be pretty prevalent here. They made a bowl game last time. We're not able to get it done, but can they do it this time around against Oklahoma State? And they are back trying to win that Pop-Tart trophy. I guess this is the story of Boston College in this video, trying to get them heated Pop-Tarts. 24-21, 3rd down and 14 as they're going to get stuffed in the backfield. And now a field goal try to make it a 6-point game is going to be good. Boston College, do you got a game-winning touchdown drive in you? Throwing the football, they got time, and a lot of times someone's got to get open. It's just a 3-man pass rush, and finally finds someone up the numbers. He goes past midfield and past the 45-yard line. A big play there, minute 15 to go, as he's going to throw one outside, wide open inside the red zone. Play action, you got plenty of time, but you're getting swarmed and sacked. It's 3rd down and 16. A short pass for him to run, but he steps out of bounds. It's 4th down and long. Game on the line, throwing for the end zone. It's tipped up in the air, and it's caught for the touchdown. That ball was somehow popped up into the hands of the Boston College player, and it's a 1-point lead. Now Oklahoma State trying to get into field goal range with little time to play. 2nd down and 5, turns the 1st and 10 as they get the first and into field goal range. Kick is no good. He missed it, and Boston College wins it. They get some heated Pop-Tarts, and this year is not going to end like last year. Touchdowns, 3 of them for Tunyon, and the touchdowns came in bunches for them. Tunyon and Barmore putting up nice production as a duo. Next up, we got Brian Dell at Florida State, who's become a starter, 80+ overall, and they're going to be facing off against Jamie Fong and Troy, so a little matchup between these 2 receivers. Florida State, Troy added again in the Birmingham Bowl. Rolling right, it's another low-scoring game between these 2 teams, and it's a sack. Florida State takes over 14-7 as they're going to roll in, get sacked themselves. 4th down for them, both go 3 and out as Troy with the football now throwing for the 1st down. We're going to get it close to midfield. Now beyond it on 3rd down. on as we jump to 3rd and 3, where he's going to throw on the run. Open, man, that's going to be caught for the first down, 35-yard line. Over the middle, that's going to be caught in the slant. They're stringing together completions, but it's 3rd down and 11. You need to convert here as he dropped way far back and throws an interception. That was in double coverage, and you can't throw a pass like that, and that's going to cost you the game with under a minute to play. Florida State wins it, as that's going to be Dell putting up a nice performance, over 100 yards and the touchdown. So Dell caps off a 1,000-yard double-digit touchdown season at Florida State. Meanwhile, Fong is able to have a nice season as well. They also have Stan Slate, who is another player in this video. Now we get to the playoff action, and it's going to feature Oklahoma's new receiver, Marco Lorenz. He's maxed out, surpassed the 80 overall mark, and become a starter for Oklahoma. Now they're in the playoffs against Iowa State, as Lorenz takes the field past midfield. 3rd down, they're throwing underneath. That's going to be caught for 4th down and 1. They're going to punt it away, and now Iowa State gets swarmed and sacked. How about going back the other way, 3rd down, and they're going to go 3 and out. Now back to Iowa State football, pitch outside. That's going to be received and cutting upfield. He's got a big-time 17-yard run, 1st down and 10, throwing outside on the RPO. That's going to be a flag down, and they're getting into it there, as it's going to be pass interference on the offense. Got that ball out a little too late, maybe, as it's going to be a sack, and now you're way backed up, 3rd and 25. Throwing it outside. That's just going to be thrown away. Oklahoma takes over. It's 3rd down and 1. 2 minutes ago is Michael Hawkins on the read option. Spin move, and he's going to get it inside the 30, but it puts it on the ground, and it's jumped on. Barely were able to keep the football there, as they're going to get it to 4th down, and Iowa State's at least going to get a possession, but he almost lost that one completely. How about 50 seconds to play? Throwing it outside. It's going to be intercepted. Oklahoma takes the football back, and they're going to hold on and win this one. So Marco Lorenz and Oklahoma are moving on to the playoffs. But a second rounder against TCU, 24-20, another close one. Throwing outside, that's going to be caught for TCU for the 1st down. 4 minutes to play, drop him back to throw. He's going to roll, throw on the run. That's going to be jumped and intercepted. And Oklahoma's defense is going to take it all the way, pick 6. And now you got a 2-score lead. TCU drives all the way down the field, but throws another pick. And that's going to end it for them, as TCU, they go down. Oklahoma, they're on to the semifinals. Can Marco Lorenz, after catching a touchdown against TCU, go all the way, as now we have another playoff matchup. UCLA, Jalen Slay, remember him, did not make it last year. He gets stomped out in the playoffs in the 2nd round after a 1st round bye this year, but has a 1,000-yard season, a really nice year, despite being a 73 overall. You know, sooner or later, these guys would make an appearance in this video. Here's Oregon, 37-34, as we always got to run into Oregon at least once in these videos, but Oklahoma keeping it close. 3rd down, these two teams trading 3 and outs. That ball's incomplete. How about back to Oregon for 3rd down, as they're going to try to run it, and they got the 1st down. Finally, someone able to convert. Now, 1st and 10, handoff. He's going to cut it back inside, break a tackle, get through, and he's off to the races, and there goes the running back all the way for the touchdown. Now your margin for error is very slim. If you're Oklahoma, you're down by 10 with under 2 minutes to play, and that's going to help out a lot. Big time completion. You got to get another one of those probably, and not a sack like that. You're way far back, 3rd and 17. You got 3 men rushing, so you got plenty of time and finding an open man on the run all the way down to the 1-yard line. Timeout used, and now you're throwing. Quick pass, touchdown, and you're down to an onside kick to try to keep yourself in it. Oregon scoops it up, and Oregon's going to put an end to this one. 44-41, and Oklahoma is stopped short of the semifinals. 2 touchdowns for Marco Lorenz, so he had a nice playoff run, and overall, a really good season. Well over 1,000 yards. On to the next season, where we can see who didn't make a bowl game. Despite Boston College starting the season 14th, they didn't even make a bowl game. Tunyon and Barmore, despite being the top 2 receivers as well, were able to put up decent seasons, but not make a bowl game. Memphis, their wide receiver duo, back at it starting again. They didn't make a bowl game, and once again, they were getting competent, solid years. Markway, I mean, he ends up, I was not even going to really have a point in showing you him. He was already maxed out again, 77 overall still. He had a decent year. Not quite the heights of his freshman season, but Gayton and Fenderson, I said they could be a nice wide receiver duo. Well, here they are, not making a bowl game. Thinks that UMass isn't all that good. Slay, he's weird. He's a 73 overall, but he ends up having like a pretty solid career, though we never really got to see him because 2 of the 3 years he didn't even make a bowl game. Dell, not quite the 1,000 yards yards that he had previously. We have Dean Mangum for Cal. He's not going to make a bowl game. So unfortunately, just a lot of guys aren't making bowl games or aren't making significant enough impacts. But when you're, starting at wide receiver as like a high 70s, mid 70s, maybe your team isn't all that good. Texas Tech, though, has a nice duo because Hawkinson, he's an 84 overall. It's still a lot of room to grow. And they also have another guy. Trent Flemister ended up having the bigger season, 1,000 yards. He had more yards than Hawkinson by quite a bit. So we have another nice duo developing here. Speaking of duos, Jamie Fong's been, active in this video. Stan Slate, also his co-star, as they're in another bowl game, 17-14, as they're in another low-scoring one. They took on Florida State twice in a row. Now can they topple UTEP as they're going to get sacked, fumble the football, and they're going to keep it, but they're backed up to 3rd and 25. Throw it over the middle. It's going to be caught, and they get it. First down, and now looking to make this maybe a 6-point lead as they're closing it a field goal range. But you can't run backwards like that and take that big of a sack. 3rd and 20. I don't think you got another one in you. You're getting sacked again, and that's going to leave it to UTEP. They got plenty of time, and a nice completion. Diving grab over the middle, just shy of the 2-minute warning. We'll probably hit it with this play as they do just that. Completed close to midfield. Now under 2 minutes to play. Up the sidelines. That's a nice completion. Inside the 30-yard line. 2nd and 10. They're going to try to run. He's going to have room. He's going to get the first down, turning it into a big run inside the 10-yard line. Goal to go. Throwing for the end zone. It's a touchdown. And now with under 20 seconds to go, what do you got? You got a big play up the seam, but you're down to your last play, basically. 7 seconds to go. Hail Mary, throwing it deep for the Bull win. Tip, and it's caught. Touchdown. Troy on the Hail Mary wins it, and that's going to give them another bowl victory as Slate and Fong have a tag team duo for another bowl win. Let's move ahead to Kansas State and Tim Provo, who's looking really good. 87 overall with boost, 84 in base. So one of the higher rated receivers. 84 is pretty good. They dominate their bowl game 45-7. Provo has a nice year. They have DeMarco Quinn now at Syracuse. He's almost fully maxed out, about an 80 overall with his boost. He's in a bowl game against Navy, and he's had a nice year. We'll get to that after this game. But Navy, they're running fullback, dives, fumbling the football. They pick it up. How about dropping back to throw this time after recovering their own fumble? They fumble it again. This time you're not keeping it. Syracuse has it up by 2. The lefty quarterback going to step up there on the run. That's going to be caught, and he hangs on past midfield. 3rd down now. You got a long way to go with this one. He's going to throw it outside. That's going to be intercepted. Navy takes it back, and we got turnovers. We got interceptions and fumbles. Screen set out. Nowhere to go. 4th down. They're going for it on 4th and 12. Throwing it deep, and that's going to be swatted away. Syracuse got in great position. Basically been handed field goal range, but they're taking a shot, and it's incomplete. They're just going to kick the field goal, and to make it a touchdown game, it is good. So Navy needs to drive down in under a minute and a half to go. 5-point game. Underneath, that's going to be caught and turning it into a nice gain to the 45. 1st and 10. Throwing over the middle again. He's got it in the zone coverage inside the 30-yard line. 3rd down and inches. Going for the end zone. It's incomplete. And now with 30 seconds to play, only Navy is going to hand it off to their fullback. 4th and inches converted. Now running, breaking out of a sack. He bumped into a down defender. He's going to throw it on the run. He's got it. He had to come back for the football. It turns into 3rd and 1. No first down. Throwing on the run. This time it's incomplete. 4th and 1. Game on the line. He is sacked, and Syracuse survives. They win their bowl game, and DeMarco Quinn ends up with a nice season. 5 yards shy of 1,000, but a nice year. Unfortunately for Boise State, Manu's gone. He didn't get drafted since he was only a 78 overall. But Tim Traylor, I think, has replaced him very well. Boise State seems to be a mainstay in this video. Look at the grab there. Tim Traylor is looking like he could be a successor, as they also have Durango, who had a nice season last year. They've had, now I think this is their 3rd nice receiver. They're going to put up a 10-point lead if they hit the kick, but it hits the upright instead. Central Michigan given life, and they're immediately going to throw it away. It's going to be intercepted and taking it back to seal the game. Boise State with the victory. 27-13, and Boise State is looking great in this video. Look at Durango, look at Taylor. I mean, these guys are putting out receivers. They have now 3. Manu's gone, but they got another 2 here. Marco Lorenz, for Oklahoma. Not in the playoffs this year, but a nice bowl victory. 51 points put up. And Marco, not quite the season that he had the year previous, but now we get into some playoff action because once again, we are back with some playoff players. Remember all the way back at the beginning, Ramon Camarillo was a starter for Nebraska? Well, he sat the bench the last couple of years, waited his turn, and now he's a starter again. Nebraska's in the playoffs, so patience pays off, I guess, after 2 years of legitimately 0 catches in his stat sheet. He is in the playoffs starting in a low-scoring 10-7 game, and Camarillo trying to end his career strong for Nebraska as Notre Dame driving inside the 20-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play. They are eating up the clock, eating up time, and eating up yards. First and goal, outside, cuts it in, dives into the end zone. And Nebraska, they got only a minute to play. That ball's tipped and it's caught, and that ball's gonna get to a first down. That's unlikely, but it's a completed pass. Now throw it over the middle. It's gonna be caught again for the first down. Driving, they need this touchdown. 47 seconds to go. Tipped around this time. It's not going to be caught by anybody. Fourth down, game on the line. Intercepted, and that's going to be no good for Camarillo as he's going to go down. But, I mean, patience pays off for him. He could have transferred or could have went somewhere else, but you can see I was not exaggerating. 0 catches for 2 years, but odd career path. How about Walter Godwin, someone we introduced a little while back? He's now fully maxed out in the playoffs against UCF. He's a starter, and he was one of the star developments that we had. It's a 24-24 game against UCF, and that's going to be caught for the first down inside the 20-yard line. Godwin, one of the higher-rated receivers that we have had so far in this video. He is actually draftable at this point. I mean, 86 overall is kind of like the threshold of a guy who could be drafted, so we're going to see if he gets to the NFL as he's going to be having to try to prove himself here. He's going to need to put up the statistics as well. 27-24 UCF hit, and he's going to complete the pass, turn that into a first down. Under a minute and a half to play as they're going to throw underneath, caught. He's going to turn up field for a first down, field goal range. He could send this to overtime, but now UCF looking for the win, but that's going to be a huge sack. 3rd and 17. Now they're going to play for the field goal, just get as many yards as they can. Kick this ball up, and we are going to overtime. Let's see what we got here. Florida with it first. Throwing immediately, caught, turning around. Touchdown, Florida. And now UCF trying to get it into the end zone, but they're going to get sacked. It's 4th and long. Throwing it deep, end zone, intercepted. It's going to be cut off. Feels a little refreshing to see an overtime just end after 1 as Florida's going to move on to the second round. And we do have a big game to show you. About 9 catches, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns for Godwin. And in the second round, dominating Middle Tennessee. That's going to be a 19-point victory. On to the semifinals, taking on LSU, and that's a sack. 3rd down and long. Throwing the football. He's going to go outside, and that ball is going to sail away incomplete. 2nd down and 12 now for Florida, who's going to get sacked themselves. And now 3rd down and long for them. Do they got a better response this time? No, they do not. It's even worse. A sack. How about just sacks on both sides? Get one for Florida, almost, and that ball is going to be somehow completed. 3rd down and long now. Pressure is just getting it on both sides. Can anyone block? Florida gonna throw over the middle. It's gonna be caught, and finally a big play, something, as I'm tired of seeing everyone just getting sacked as LSU's pressure doesn't get in there, but this time it's not the sack, it's an interception. LSU down to a minute 15 to go, closing in a field goal range, and they're gonna have it with that completion. How about 3rd down and 1, a chance to get off the field, and they're not gonna do it. Kick for the win as time expires is good, and LSU knocks out Florida. Both defenses did a phenomenal job in that 4th quarter. Godwin not putting up like 1,000 yards, but he's doing really good stuff, and he had a big playoff game. How about Trent Flemister from Texas Tech transferring to go be a backup at Oklahoma, unfortunately? Stan Slate, how about Troy not making a bowl game this year finally? Devon Brace, I don't understand how he's just been able to hold on to a job for that long. I didn't show the growth on those guys because those guys were maxed out long ago. Dell gets back into another starting spot at Florida State, not quite able to match the season that he had once before. We go to Dean Mangum, who's maxed out. He's over an 80 overall. He's pretty good. You know, getting to an 81 is a lot better than most, but not able to make a bowl game. Old Dominion, Carlos Best, almost fully maxed out. He's an 80 overall. Old Dominion, so not making a bowl game, but 11 touchdowns. You're pretty satisfied with that. Aiden Gayton, I'm really disappointed that UMass isn't making a bowl game, that they just stink everywhere else, because I would like to see him in action. 82 is really good, but now we're on to the players that are actually going to be in action. Tim Provo, back at it again, 84 overall still. And how about he's got a co-star, Mike Sturgeon, one of the elite dev players, is finally growing to be one of the better players in this video. So a nice little duo for Kansas State as they are in their bowl game, getting a scoop and score against Wisconsin in the Las Vegas Bowl, 27-27, 5 minutes to play, and Wisconsin's got it stopped. Third down now, going the other way, and that's going to be a nice block down the field on the run. He's got a lot of room, and he's going to get it all the way inside the 25-yard line. How about third down? Throw it outside. That ball's going to be caught. Sturgeon has it, turns it upfield, touchdown, and that's the big elite dev wide receiver with the touchdown as Wisconsin is getting sacked. Third down and long as they got some of the yards back, not all of it, and they're not getting much more as it's fourth down and long, and you got to do something here as he's going to get his. He's throwing, and I mean, they sent everyone downfield. They didn't even try to get 16. It looked like they were trying to get 50 yards on that play, but Tim Provo, Sturgeon, solid seasons from them both as Sturgeon's still getting a lot better. DeMarco Quinn back at it again with Syracuse as a starting wide receiver, not fully maxed out. They get dominated by Texas A&M, so no action for him this time around, but okay season, not quite what he did in his first year as a starter. And we go over to Derek Hawkinson. I mean, he's just got all the right skill caps, the hands, the IQ, and everything like that. They're in the Alamo Bowl, and Hawkinson, I think, is the highest overall receiver we've had so far. He doesn't have Trent Flemister because he wanted to go and transfer to go be a backup at Oklahoma, but we're happy to just see Hawkinson here in this Alamo Bowl game as they're taking on Illinois. Texas Tech with the football, with the lead, and they got a completion over the middle that's going to be caught. And now how about another pass to the air, throwing middle. That guy's taking a shot, and he hung on to that one. How about running the football to the outside and turning the corner? He's got it in the red zone in a big run. And Texas Tech, could they go up by 2 scores, beating the blitz on third down? They're going to get it, not quite to the first down marker, but it sets up a close field goal. And you are looking at a 29-24 game, so Illinois still with the opportunity here to go and try to win this one. He stopped and threw that one, and he faked out some defenders who tried to run at him. How about a third and long? You're going to have a completion, open man, but they're going to swarm him, tackle him short, fourth down and 1. Throwing outside. He's going to contest it and catch it, and they give him forward progress for the first down. You might have not been able to get it, but they got the forward progress, thankfully, and in between 3 defenders. That's a great throw. They're moving it well, and now they're taking the shot, and they got it for the touchdown, and the 2-point conversion for the field goal lead is going to be blown up. He breaks out of 1 sack, not 2, and now Texas Tech, you got 30 seconds, you need a field goal, but no one's getting open, and you're getting sacked, and that could be the death sentence for this drive. Throwing it deep, knocked away, 4th down and 20, and they set up the screen. You know, I'm all for getting the ball into Hawkinson's hands, but a 4th and 20 screen, that might be a fireable offense. Hawkinson has had 3 seasons in which he's had nice production, but not great production. Now we're on to some playoff action. I didn't have the bracket, unfortunately, so that's my mistake. But we have 3 teams in the playoffs. One of them is Clemson, where they get a dominant victory. Boise State, no surprise, they're back in the playoffs again. Tim Traylor is in it, and they have Demetrius Drango too, so the duo trying to get themselves to a national title. Boise has been in the mix constantly and has probably had more games in this video than any other team, but can they finally get over the hump, get past the first round? Taking on Notre Dame, 14-10, low scoring one, but Notre Dame has the football and they are driving. They are inside the 10-yard line, 3rd down and 7, rolling, throwing. That ball's incomplete, they threw it away, so it's going to maintain a 1-score game. Notre Dame with the field goal. Boise State, 7-point game. They're trying to get to one of these 2 receivers, but that's going to be intercepted immediately. And that's going to be Notre Dame puts up 10 of their 17 in the 4th quarter, wins it. And that's going to be a disappointing end. Traylor, Drango, they both have pretty solid seasons. See what Drango ended up doing. 1,000-yard year, but a bunch of very productive, solid seasons. One of the more, cumulative statistic guys that we have had so far in this video if we're just sorting by yards, but we'll get into all the statistics at the end of this video. Penn State against Clemson. We have Proctor, who's become really good for Clemson, one of the elite dev receivers, and now Clemson, after a first-round victory, taking on Penn State, who is driving, threatening to go up by 2 scores, and Clemson just could not get the stop that they needed. 24-12, the offense not able to keep up. Penn State holds them to just a couple of field goals, and Proctor, pretty solid season. He's at an 84 overall. He's going to continue to get better. He's not maxed out yet. And the other guy we have in the playoffs, we have Walter Godwin. Had a nice playoff run last year, made it to the semifinals. But what does he got this year against Tennessee? 24-20, and immediately the same Walter Godwin, this is his co-star, outside, touchdown on the run. It gets him the lead, 24-27, and now Tennessee going up the middle for a nice run. Midfield, just about third down. That's going to be a strike on the other side of things, and they're going to get the touchdown. Tennessee, Florida, back-to-back big plays, and now Florida, they got one. There's Walter Godwin. This time it's his turn as Godwin gets it now. 3rd down and 4 going his way again, incomplete. 4th down and 4. It's going to be caught this time. Tight ends got it. About under 2 minutes to play, needing the touchdown, trying to get it, but you got a 3-man rush. You got plenty of time, and you can't do that. You can't just run into one of the only 3 pass rushers. 3-man pass rush again. You got to convert this time around. It's swatted away. And Tennessee, I mean, they literally dropped back. 3-man pass rush, gave him all the time in the world, and he just couldn't do anything with it. 1,000 yards for Godwin, 2 double-digit touchdown seasons. It's not enough to get him drafted. That surprised me. He was an 86 overall. We're at the point now where a lot of these guys have graduated and maybe gotten NFL tryouts, but none of them gotten drafted so far. We get into the guys who, once again, no bowl game appearances. This time, DeMarco Quinn, 2 straight years making a bowl game. Not so much in his other season, 3rd year. You know, still not matching what he did in his first season. We have, once again, UMass. I'm disappointed that UMass couldn't make a bowl game. I mean, you're telling me in all these seasons you couldn't win just 6 games one time. He ends up with a solid career. Would have liked to see what he would have done if he went to a different school, a better school. Brett Torrey maxed out. He was one of the star development players. He's in a bowl game against North Texas, but Miami versus North Texas obviously wasn't going to be all that close. He ends up with a pretty solid season as the number 2 receiver for Miami, and we'll see what he can continue to do. We have Dean Mangum. This time he is going to be in a little bit of bowl action, and he's going to be taking on the 3rd of the elite dev guys, Dion Ismail from Louisiana, finally getting his opportunity. A bit of a late bloomer, but in his final 2 seasons, finally getting the start. Mangum finally in a bowl game, but Louisiana with an interception. How about play action? Throwing right over the middle. That's going to be Ismail for the touchdown, and he scores it. 2-score game. Cal now needing something to go their way. They only got 6 points on the board, and that's not going to do much for them as they're going to get an incomplete pass on 4th down, 23-6. And Ismail, we got to see him catch a touchdown at least, and he ends up with 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdown season, so he was worth the wait. Mangum, 81 overall. Nice season to close things out, but didn't end up hitting that next level. We actually have the bracket this time around, and once again, Boise State, are they going to do it? Like, we've been waiting on Boise State to break out, and they're only down to 1 receiver left. Manu's gone, Drango's gone, but they have Tim Traylor fully maxed out at his peak of his powers, and he is the number 1 receiver. So how about we see what they could do this time around? They got a home playoff game against Tennessee, up by 3. They got the football, 4 minutes to play. Tucking, he's going to break through, spinning away, getting a 1st down, 20 yards, 25, and sliding down. A awesome play by the quarterback. How about throwing on the run? There's Tim Traylor with it out of bounds. He's going to get it to 3rd down and goal, sacked. And that's going to open the door for Tennessee. Field goal's good, but it's still a 1-score game, so Tennessee with the football. Touchdown can win it here as they go with the curl route to start off, and that's going to be a 1st down. 1st and 10 once more. Tennessee over the middle. That's going to be caught, and that's a much bigger gain, 20 yards. And now with 1:15 to go, he's going to get sacked. Timeout used, 3rd down and 11 as he's going to throw right over the middle. That's incomplete, 4th and 11. Can Boise State win this playoff game right here? Can they got the 1st down? Out of bounds. 57 seconds to go. Over the middle. That's caught. And another 1st down. Stop the clock, but you're down still. Little time to play. Intercepted. Boise State holds on. They're winning a playoff game. And they're finally going to be moving on to the next round. And we have Traylor with a big game. 100+ yards and touchdowns. We have Derek Hawkinson fully maxed out at a 90 overall. Insane hands. They dominate Boston College in their 1st round playoff matchup. We got a lot going on here. We got 4 players in here. Matt Proctor, he's almost fully maxed out. He's looking really good. Notre Dame, can someone beat Notre Dame? Because we faced off against them multiple times, and neither of our teams have been able to beat them. But now 32-28, incomplete pass. 2nd down and 7, throwing outside. That's caught, and it's on the run. 1 defender to catch him, and he does. is. So now Notre Dame can make it a 7-point game, but they can try to go for the touchdown to win, but they're going to get sacked third down at 21, and they're going to get sacked again, and they are gonna still try the field goal. It is no good. They were backed up too far. Clemson with the opportunity. That ball is caught. He took a shot, and how did he hang on to that one? Almost picked fourth down. He should have paid the price for that one. And this time, the fourth down's converted. Second down and 10. Right over the middle. That's caught in traffic, and they're hanging on to these. I don't know how. First and 10. They're gonna get sacked here. We're running out of time. 30 seconds to play. Third down and 20. He's got time. Just a three-man rush. Someone, anyone, get open. And finally it happens. And they're all the way down inside the 5-yard line. Little time to play. 15 seconds, and he's going to tuck. Run it in for the touchdown. Clemson with the lead. How about a Hail Mary to end this thing for Notre Dame? That ball's going to be incomplete. And now Notre Dame goes down. We have 4 of the final 8 teams. Kansas State got a bye. We'll get to them in a little bit. So here is the bracket now. 4 teams. And we start off with Clemson. Keeping with them, they get pretty handily beaten by USC, so unfortunately Matt Proctor, he's still got another year of eligibility. We'll see what he does, but this year, 1,000 yards, he's at 86 overall, still with a little room to grow. Maybe he can get NFL draft ready. 86 overall wasn't good enough for Walter Godwin. Speaking of Godwin, it's his former team, Florida, as Godwin isn't on the Florida team anymore, but they are leading over Texas Tech. It's going to be 23-14 as they have to do something here to make a comeback. They're in field goal range to cut it to a 1-score game, but maybe they want the touchdown first. They're going to throw on the run. Caught first down, and now first and 10. Drop him back. Can they get the touchdown to be huge? But they're getting sacked. And this is going to potentially result in them settling for a field goal if they can't get it. And they almost throw the pick. You almost didn't get anything. But you're going to get the field goal, cut it to a 1-score game. So now you're just down to stopping Florida. Third down and 3. Bumping around, getting the first down. And that's unfortunate. They didn't even get a chance to get a game-winning touchdown drive. Florida with the victory. And Hawkinson, really good game. They went to him. And that's going to be the end of his career. A really nice final season, 1,000 yards for a 90 overall player. The other team we got is Kansas State. They got a first-round bye, and they got the best wide receiver duo we've had in this video, Tim Provo. How about an All-American season? And then we go to his even better counterpart, Mike Sturgeon, who is 91 overall, holds the crown for the highest overall in this video. He's just a redshirt junior, so if he wanted to come back for another season, he could. We got Kansas State, Boise State. One of these two teams guaranteed a semifinals appearance as Kansas State 21-21 with the football getting tackled for a loss and having to settle for the field goal as they are going to be the favorites here. I would love to see this Kansas State team make it all the way with these two great receivers as they're going to have a screen set up. Boise State, they've been the fun underdog team who's been putting together all the great receivers, has all the production, and has the best receiver production-wise in Manu all the way back at the start. So 21-24, Boise State in field goal range to try to tie this one up, but they want the touchdown, and that's going to be caught. How did he bring that one in? All the way at the 1-yard line. That's going to be a score at Boise State. Are they going to pull this one off? Kansas State has it over the middle. That's going to be caught. Timeout used, 45-yard line. Dropping to throw it. He's going to get into a sack. Timeout again. 3rd and 15. He's running away from one, but being chased down and brought down. 4th and 15 with the game on the line. Boise State trying to pull it off. Deep ball. It's incomplete. He almost got it off the tip. And that's going to be a semifinals appearance. We went from 4 teams down to 1. Boise State is the only one to make it this far. Let's go over the stats real quick. Provo, 1,000 yards and a lot of touchdowns. Sturgeon, nice season for him. But we're down to 1 of our 4 teams left. Florida immediately gets an interception. They're up by 5. And now with the football in their possession, drop him back. And they got the strike. Caught inside the 5-yard line. Goal to go, handoff, 2-score lead at Boise State. Things are looking dire for them. Screen no good. It's 4th down. Things could get ugly here as they're getting sacked. And now it's looking real bad, but they're at least going to save things a little bit. Sack for them, but they're backed up. They need to go 91 yards. They can't even settle for a field goal here. It still would be a 2-score game. They need 2 touchdowns, and they're going to get a good one there. A big-time play to the 45-yard line. Now they're in enemy territory. Throwing it deep middle. That's caught, and they're inside the 5-yard line. Drop him back. Throwing, running, he's going to keep it. touchdown, Boise. And now with an opportunity to stop him over the middle, that's going to be caught. Florida on the run. He couldn't get the final block he needed, but Florida now in field goal range. But they're going to get sacked. 2-minute warning is hit. Third down, they're trying to save field goal range, and they're not going to get it. Boise, can they complete the comeback? They almost throw a pick. Now it's 4th down and 10. Throwing over the middle. He got it, and that's going to be caught to the 35-yard line. They need a touchdown underneath. Caught. First down again. Fighting ahead inside the 25-yard line. Can Boise pull it off? Caught inside the 5. And now with under a minute to play. Touchdown, Boise, from 12 points down to now 3 points up. Florida, now they don't know what to hit them, but they get a big play there. And Florida, they're not done quite yet. 30 seconds to go, and they're in field goal range to send it to overtime. How have we gotten here? It is overtime, 37-37. Florida, Boise, Broncos football first as they're going to get the first down. Now moving ahead inside the 15-yard line. 3rd down and 10, caught over the middle. They're going to have to settle for the field goal. Maybe could have went for it, but they're going to trust the defense. 40-37. Run outside. He's going to break a tackle. What a stiff arm. First down. And he's going to get them halfway there. 3rd down and 5, though. Florida is going to get sacked. He couldn't get the throw off. And we are going to a second overtime. 40-40. Florida throws it underneath. That's going to be caught. They give him the forward progress, first down. And quick pass over the middle. Down to the 1-yard line. Goal to go. Inside handoff. Touchdown, Florida. And now Boise, they need to respond. But the 2-point conversion first is going to be good. Boise needs 8 points to keep the dream alive. Outside, that's going to be caught, and he gets by a defender. 15 yards and a first down. Basically, goal to go. 10-yard line. That's going to be caught. Touchdown. 2-point conversion. And off inside. We're going to another overtime. 48-48, and that ball's going to be caught. Boise can win it here in triple overtime. Not quite. We're going to 50-50. Boise forces the fumble, and they can win it again. Can they do it this time? As they're going to roll it, they get sacked now. How about overtime number 5, Boise? And it's going to be stopped at the 1. Barely. That wasn't even at the 1. That was at the inch-yard line. And Florida ends it. Boise so close. 52-50. And after a 12-point comeback, it's not going to be good enough. And the overtime game, they go down. Hawkinson, he's a 2nd-round pick. Finally, we're in the draft. And then Sturgeon, he declared as a 91 overall. He's a 1st-round pick. We're on to the final season now as the 2 best players that we've had, they declare. And Sturgeon, I mean, he's gone now, so we won't have Kansas State. Provo didn't end up getting drafted. We go to the guys who, of course, did not make a bowl game. Quentin ends up with 1,000 on the dot, but no bowl game in his final 2 years. Dion Ismail, almost fully maxed out. He's really good. 85 overall, one of the better that we've had. And if there's one player I would have liked to see a lot more of, it would have been him. A bowl game in which they dominate. He ends up with 2 really good seasons, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, and we're already on to the playoffs. There wasn't many guys left. We have Clemson and Miami. Proctor, All-American, 87 overall for Clemson. We also have Brett Torre, who ends up being a maxed out 83 overall starting at Miami. So Miami against LSU, 22-17. If anybody's going to make a national championship, this is our last chance. We're down to the final stretch here. LSU with the football, and that's a great grab and a first down. 22-17 is the score, so a field goal will still keep it a 1-score game, but it's not looking like Miami's even going to get the football back. Another first down carry, and they're not even going to get to touch the football. Miami goes down in disappointing fashion. Didn't even get the opportunity to win it at the end. Torre had a great game, 100 yards and a touchdown, but it's not going to matter. Torre ends up with 2 10-touchdown, double-digit touchdown seasons, but we're down to 1 guy, Matt Proctor. That's all we have left. One of the best players we've had in this video. But they were going to go out there, and somehow they faced Middle Tennessee again in the playoffs, and they smashed them again. So moving on to the 2nd round, they're going to be taking on Virginia Tech. It is going to be 27-30, and Proctor with the first down there. Now play action. 1st and 10. They're going to go way far back. Why are you running that far backwards? Sack, 3rd down and 20. Now running ahead. This time, yeah, you got to go forward to get yardage. Set up the field goal try. Kick is good. 30-30, Virginia Tech with the football. 3 minutes to go. Over the middle, that's going to be caught on the run, and he's going to be past the 45-yard line. 2.5 to play. Drop him back. Pressure is in. He gets it out in time and gets a couple of yards, but they have to put the football away. 3rd down and 5 now for Clemson, as they're going to get the completion, and he almost got away. Broke 1, not 2. 2nd down and 2. Now they're going to throw underneath. That's going to be caught. 1st down. You're in field goal range. Game is in your hands, and you get the 1st down, and now you can run the clock all the way down if you want to. They're going to hand it off. Broke a tackle, and they're just going to score the touchdown. Virginia Tech down to their last chance, as they're at least going to get one. A lot of teams don't get the chance. Down to 20 seconds, throwing it outside, caught, and you got a little bit of an opportunity. Deep ball to end the game, incomplete, and Virginia Tech goes down. Clemson on to the semifinals. Now, I'd love to have some crazy dramatic finish for you guys, but unfortunately, Iowa State just absolutely dominated Proctor and Clemson, so that's going to be how things end. And Proctor did have a nice game, and on top of that, he made All-American for a reason. He had a really nice year, and as you can see, when he gets drafted, we have all the information, all the stats, all the data for you as we start off with the scouting/dev tree. 28 of the 100 were gems, 18 of them were busts, so a lot more variety compared to what we did with one-star quarterbacks, and especially so in the development side of things. 57 were normal, so a little over half, but 29 impact, 11 star, 13 elite. So a combined 14 star or elites. Pretty good for 3 stars, and all 3 of the elites ended up becoming pretty competent players, and not all of the stars ended up becoming great, but a lot of them did end up hitting their ceilings and becoming adequate players. The development path was pretty interesting because when it comes to these players, they did cap out pretty quickly, even whether you were normal development or even the highest of development. Some of the ceilings for some of these players weren't that great. Even the star ones, like there were players who were star development, but even still, like they hit their caps at like 2 years, and it'd only be like 80 overall. So even still, the overalls weren't going crazy for some of these players, but going from an average of 63 quickly to a 70, and by the end 76 was the average, which make of that what you will. Depending on the school, 76 could be a starter, but for a lot of schools, 76, I mean, they're lucky to be on the depth chart. So on average, we had some varying results, and we had players as low as 55 to 68 start. We had no 70 overall players in base, but I mean, as you can see, we had only a player jump up 2 overalls in his career. There were some stinkers in there that I didn't show you. Like there was one player who was like 65 overall and he capped out as a 67, but we did have some really good jumps. We had a plus 20 in 1 year. That's where you could see the 83 overall as a redshirt freshman. Highest career jump plus 27. That was obviously one of the 90 overall players. So we had some really good players still. I really do think that this is a good slide to kind of indicate what you're getting and what the odds are and the probabilities are. 76 was the average, so it makes sense a little over half of the players hit that. But I mean, if you're looking for progressively better players, you'd probably say 80 overall is a pretty competent player. Well, exactly 25% hit 80. And then as you get a little bit higher, I mean, 83, 84, 85, I mean, especially with coach boost. So these are all in base. So if you get an 85 receiver and, you got a coach boost that can get them up a little bit more, plus 3, plus 4 overall, that's high 80s. You can get low 90s. So there are players in this, like, that did end up becoming number 1, like true number 1s or high-end 2s, low-end 1s, like legitimate guys. And we even had 290 overalls eventually, but you can get a really nice receiver maybe 15-20% of the time. But it's not always about overalls. Production matters as well. 22 of the wide receivers ended up becoming number 1 wide receivers on their team, meaning the best receiver on the team. 44 players had 1,000 career yards, which 1,000 isn't crazy, especially if you're playing 3 to 4 years. I mean, you could just have 400 a year, but 2,000 career yards, that goes down to 27. 6 players, 3,000 career yards. 13 guys ended up making a playoff appearance and actually playing in the playoffs, not just on the team, but 15 separate players had a 1,000-yard season. We've seen guys as low as 73 overall have a 1,000-yard season for UCLA, and guys as high as 90 overall have this season for them. 3 All-Americans and 3 players sent to the NFL, including a first-round pick and a second-round pick. So the guys that were drafted, 2 of them, pretty high draft picks and were pretty good. Just like in the quarterback video, we had one team kind of rise above and just outdo all the rest, and this time it was Boise State. my goodness, the amount of production they got. I mean, you sort by touchdowns. Drango and Manu both had like the most touchdowns, and Manu had arguably the best season of anybody. First year, 25 touchdowns, best receiver in the nation, only person to win an award. Amazing. Drango ended up having a lot of cumulative stats, a 1,000-yard season. Tim Traylor was also really good, 2,000 yards, 29 touchdowns. Boise State really succeeded, and while none of these guys hit that 85 overall mark, and even in Manu's case, only a 78, didn't even come close to the NFL. It was still really good. And then we get to the end, the best of the best outside of Boise State. Hawkinson had a 90 overall, 3,000 yards. Proctor was also drafted as well as Hawkinson, about 3,000 yards, both of them in the playoffs. Godwin, really nice career, 86 overall, 31 touchdowns. Ismail, would have loved to see more of him, but he only started 2 years, both 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. Tim Provo, All-American, didn't get drafted, but really good. And then Sturgeon didn't have the statistics, but he was the highest overall and just declared so early. So, I mean, we would have loved to see more of him. But you guys can let me know who you thought was the best in this video and what you thought of this format. You know, instead of doing the batches, do you want me to just have it all together like this? You let me know what you like better, the 1-star quarterback or the 3-star receiver format, and maybe I can do that in the future if I do something like this again. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. Took a lot of time to make this video, but like, comment, and subscribe as I am so close to hitting 5,000, and I will see you guys all in the next one.